What's up, guys? Why can I hear myself? Hello, hello. Testing. How bad is this audio? Can't tell. I cannot tell. Hello? Audio test? Can you hear me? Hello, hello? What's up? Hello? 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 Hello, hello, hello? Hello? Testing? I don't know. Hello, hello, hello? I don't know what's happening. Hello, hello, hello. Test. Well, does not look like we have. Hello, hello. Oh, y'all can hear me. What's up, guys? Sorry, I was in my own world. Hey, we've got some comments already. What's going on, guys? It's been a very... Carson? No way. No way. No way. It's been years, bro. Haven't seen that name in years. Johnny, what's going on? I was just wondering about you like a half hour ago. Welcome back. Thanks, man. Welcome back to the channel. Hey, we got Preezy in here too. What's going on, man? Last time I was in the stream, I was 16 years old in 2020. Man, time has passed, hasn't it? That means next year, what? You're gonna be 21? Jeez, that's a big age gap, 16 to 2021. I know that's felt like forever for you. That's insane. Welcome back to the channel. Glad you haven't forgotten about me. That's pretty cool. What's going on, Preezy? It's been a while. CH, hey man. Good to see you again. I've been good. I have been pretty good. I've been taking a break. Be honest with me, guys. How bad's the audio quality? I'm on my AirPod Maxes. If it's bad, I will get the dedicated mic back out. It's just been buried for a while, so I'll have to dig it up at some point. I know where it is. It probably would take 10 minutes. You helped me make like 2K off Doge. I was working at Sonic at the time. That's right. I remember that. You're currently up 3,800. It's going crazy. That is awesome to hear, man. Glad to hear it. It's awesome that you're still in 4 years later. I know a lot has happened since then, guys. We've been here for a while, haven't we? Sounds fine. Okay, awesome. I'll just keep it as it is then, unless I get some complaints. It has been a very long time. Let's zoom out and look at the charts. We have been here since here. Believe it or not. We've been here for a long time. Lorena, what's going on? It has been a while. Welcome back to the channel. It's awesome to see Lorena. It's awesome to see familiar names. Names I've seen before popping back in, despite all the time that's passed. How cool is that? I just wanted to let you know, guys. I'm sure you've seen the... Oh, did I unpin the comment? I'll repin it, but it's in the description. So, I'm going to be changing the way that I do things going forward a little bit. I am going to get back into uploading and live streaming and all that pretty frequently now that the market has actually returned to something worth talking about. But I'm going to be trying to use X a lot more. It seems to be a lot better suited to creators that will do what I plan to be doing, which is not just uploading videos or not just doing live streams, but then also providing updates via text without having to make a video. Just the amount of people that you're able to reach with quick updates, like what the price is doing, a quick watch list, stocks or crypto that you should be keeping an eye out for, so on and so forth. Really, Twitter or X is the best platform for that. And they're now actually figuring out a way to get creators monetized for that if you know your following's big enough. So I'm not there yet, but if you have an X account, if you wouldn't mind helping support the initiative, just go ahead, follow me over there. My handle's 2020 Tech Reviews. Um, just help me out, retweet anything you find interesting, like it, comment, engagement. Um, but yeah, I think it'd be awesome to eventually transition over to that platform and do most of my stuff over there. But for now, I'm multi-streaming, so I've got this stream live on YouTube, which is where I am right now, but it's also live on X, so I can see if you comment here or there. We're live in both places, so appreciate all the support. Thanks for hanging around for all these years, too. That's pretty encouraging. I don't know how long I'll be live. I definitely didn't plan on being live today for very long, but we've got some of the OGs in here, so maybe we'll talk a little bit. Dogecoin is ripping, and it's not just Dogecoin. Let's see if I can do noise cancellation still. No? All right. Oh well. Crypto's taking off, guys. I'm sure you've seen it. Let me move myself out the way real quick, just so we can take a look at some of these charts. But the whole stock market, stock, crypto, everything's ripping right now. And so I wanted to go over a couple different things. Of course, the why for those that don't know, but it's probably pretty obvious. But then also, I just wanted to go over like what my price targets are and what you guys should be keeping an eye out for if you are invested in anything. And then just what I expect is going to happen, I guess, over the next couple months with crypto and with stocks. I will say at this point in time, I am diversifying my portfolio. Over the years, I've learned a lot, and I've always been pretty good with technical analysis, but I've learned a lot of like things that you should do and not do. Learned some harsh lessons, learned the hard way. So basically, the outcome of all that was just make sure you play things smart, avoid FOMO, avoid making emotional trades, and diversify your portfolio. Avoid the YOLO plays, and I've said this before, but it resonates even more now. Avoid just throwing all your money in something and hoping for the best when you have not done research on the actual product first. Understanding why things are moving, that should be priority number one. If you don't understand why something's going up or down, don't just throw your money in there because it looks exciting. You'll probably lose it. And if you don't, that was a gamble, and you will lose it one day. So, all right, let's get into it. Let's talk about the market really quick. So let's just zoom out a little bit here. Let's just go to a month. Dogecoin about 30 days ago was 11 cents. And we are now at almost 42 cents on Dogecoin. That's 4x basically. Just a few more cents and we'll be at 4x where we were in a month's period. So that is insane. For those of you that are in the Discord group, I've still been around talking here and there occasionally, just when something exciting's happening, but we've been kind of tracking this move over the last couple weeks. We saw when things started to heat up. And guys, it's not just Dogecoin. I'm sure you've seen this already, but it is pretty much all of crypto, and then it's also all of stocks that are related to technology. So things like Tesla, things that are related to AI, things that are related to EVs, and then some other things that I'll talk about too. Everything is taking off right now. And, you know, I'm not a political person. I don't have like a bias in any kind of way, but it does interest me when certain events cause the markets to move. And because of who ended up being elected, that is the primary reason why we're seeing the markets moving right now. And it's because of, well, the policies that were promised, the things that were promised, and then Elon Musk's involvement obviously was one of the major catalysts for Dogecoin, with the Department of Government Efficiency coming into play. But then you've also got Trump being, or at least saying that he's going to be very pro Bitcoin, and he wants Bitcoin to be like 100% like an American-based operation, where we would be the leaders in crypto mining for Bitcoin. So obviously with promises like that, that's going to make people feel like there's a positive future, a positive outlook for crypto and for Bitcoin. That's why those markets are moving. There's more to talk about as far as the why, but I do want to take a look at this chart, and maybe we'll just go to Webull for this because I haven't quite figured out the new Robinhood thing yet. Let's go over to Bitcoin. That's not, I do this every time. It's been years, you would think. Let's go over to the absolute insanity, which is Bitcoin's movement right here. Wow, we've still got the lines plotted out here from years before. Look at where we've come from, guys. We were here together. I have not looked at these lines in so long. We were here. Isn't that crazy? We were here talking about this while it happened. And then I believe this is when was this? It had something to do with the government. Because we were watching the live streams. They were going to pass some sort of regulation or something like that. Yeah, I remember this time frame. Anyway. Patterns. This is where we were just a few weeks ago. And then the election happened. Bitcoin really started to run at this point. Now, we're making all-time highs. There is not much from a technical perspective to look at, except for mental values. And you know this if you've been here for a while or if you understand technical analysis. When you don't have a clear point of reference to go back to, and what I mean by this is you can go to a stock, and I'll just use Archer Aviation for an example. This is a stock where you can look at it historically, and you can say, and it's just common sense, if something has happened once, it has the possibility, the confirmed possibility to occur a second time. And that's the way that people are going to look at it. You know, why would it be impossible if it's happened? Clearly it's not impossible, so it can happen again. So a lot of times you'll look at a stock's all-time high, and you'll say, well, if everything were to go perfect world scenario, we can get back to that particular valuation. And so that's what we're seeing. Maybe I'll put myself down here and minimize it a bit. So that's what we're seeing. You know, here on Archer, we're sitting here at $4.50, but in the past we've gone up to 18 bucks. So we're going to say if everything was perfect world scenario, we could probably get back to 18 bucks. When you're in a scenario like we are right now with Bitcoin and with a lot of other cryptocurrencies where we're making all-time highs right now, yes, you can bring out the fib and try and do all kind of fancy stuff and project based off percentage gains, where we're going to bounce and where we might stop and probabilities and all that. I don't get that in depth because it's really way simpler than that. You want to be doing what the rest of the market is doing. So if the majority of the market is not going to be looking at the fib as a point of reference, yeah, that can help you, but that's really not what you need to be thinking about. Think about it from the majority of traders' perspective. Where are they going to want to buy and where are they going to want to sell? That is what's key. And so usually just thinking about significant numbers, like significant whole numbers rounding up to a certain whatever, that's usually going to be the easiest way to do it. So we mapped this line a long time ago. I don't know when it was. It was probably a couple years ago. This line at 100K being a resistance point, and there's a reason for that. And it's if we were to break above these levels, I don't believe this is still here. And that, well, anyway, it's if we were to break above these levels, right, and then held, and this became support, then it was most likely probable that we would take off and run up until anywhere in this area, but most likely, you know, our point of resistance. We may trade up sideways for whatever period of time, bounce around. Our resistance level is most likely going to be 100K. Because once we pass Bitcoin 50K and we clear the next resistance, what's the next big number people are going to think? Oh, well, we passed 50, we passed 60, we can make it to 100. And so that's like the next goal that people are naturally going to set for what the price target could be for Bitcoin. Bitcoin to 100,000. So with that in mind, you're going to want to start to think of that as your next resistance level. And when we are thinking about resistance levels, If you are not someone that just wants to buy in and hold the asset for years and not look at it, you want to make some plays and maybe move your money around, take profit at some points, try and buy dips, you're going to want to think of those price targets as sell areas, sell opportunities, and typically you're going to want to look at a window. Why do I say this? Historically, from what I've seen over the years of staring at charts, things tend to kind of repeat themselves over and over again. And if I remember how to do this, because it's been a very long time, things tend to repeat themselves. And what usually happens is whenever you have an actual price target that everybody agrees on, it does not make it to that price level. It's very, very common. So it's just very common. With that in mind, if everybody's thinking that Bitcoin should go to 100,000 and that's the price target, you should start considering taking a sell somewhere in that area of like 90 to 95k. The closer to 95k you can get, the better. But you know, the way you want to play this, if you're going to trade it, get up to 95k. And if things are looking kind of slow, go ahead and scale out of your position of whatever crypto that it is. That could be Dogecoin, that could be whatever you're holding that you want to trade. Scale out of your position and wait. See what happens next. And it's a two-part question and answer. And this should be your plan. It's if we pass 100k and hold above it. No, I'm sorry. Do we pass 100k and hold above it? If yes, buy back in. If we do not, don't buy back in, wait for the dip. Now, you are going to miss out on a little bit of the move there because on Bitcoin, that's about $5,000, right? And if you wait for confirmation, you will probably be buying back in between 100 to 105,000 on Bitcoin, maybe 110 if you're really kind of slow to pull the trigger. So you're going to miss out on 5 to 10, 15,000 of the move. But bigger picture, if you were correct, right, in your thought process of the fact that we might stop here and then pull back to support to retest, that could have been a potential, you know, if you bought back at what now becomes the new support level, the previous high, you know, 72, or let's just say 75,000 to 95,000, that's $25,000 of potential gain that you could have had by waiting for this to dip, flush out. Maybe it goes below this a little bit to flush out some of the paper hands. So maybe that's like a $25,000 to $30,000 move. You buy back in, and then you ride the wave. Since you preserved your capital and you didn't ride this all the way back down while holding, now you can buy up more Bitcoin or whatever the crypto is, and then ride that on its way back up with more. And that way, as it then progresses and breaks through resistance, maybe next time around, you're going to make even more money because you have even more coins. So that's the concept. And nothing has changed really as far as Bitcoin being the leader and all the other cryptos that we're interested in being the ones that follow. So if I go to Dogecoin, yes, Doge is kind of doing its own thing, but at the end of the day, what you're going to notice is that most of Dogecoin's move is somewhat pegged to what Bitcoin's doing. And the way it usually works, people look at Bitcoin first, and they say, are we looking strong or are we looking weak? And then after some sort of delay, a little bit of a delay as people wait to see what the move is doing, they kind of watch it to confirm if we're going up or down, if we're going to hold or not. Once people are confident, that's when you usually see people buy into the altcoins immediately after, and these usually lag behind because of that. So what we saw here, and I talked about this in the Discord group a little bit, and with some of you one-on-one, is that, you know, what we saw here was Bitcoin already, you know, Bitcoin got up to 89,000 and it was just bouncing back and forth between this 89 to 87,000 level. But at one point, especially right here, and you can see right here, if you just pretend like from this line over doesn't exist yet, it looked like Bitcoin was about to do a head and shoulders move potentially. And we know that that is a bearish move. With that, if you flipped over to crypto at that point, it was looking a little bit weak. And that's because people were watching Bitcoin to see if this was actually going to be a bearish reversal or if this was just part of a bigger move that needed to be played out. So there was not much buying pressure from the alts, even though we had made a run from like 80,000 to 85 to 89,000. It looked like, hey, we're heading to 100K. You can look at the altcoins at that moment and see, are people convinced that this move is actually going to hold, based off of whether or not they're buying the altcoins or the altcoins aren't moving when the Bitcoin move happens. And what you could see at that time, the altcoins weren't moving very much, so people were skeptical. But then what you notice is as it held and as this started to play out and as this began to look more and more like a bullish continuation pattern here, Dogecoin caught up because everybody gained confidence and then they bought in afterward. And that's why you then see these lag behind but then take off out of what looks to be nowhere. It's just the way it happens every time. If you can just be on your game and wait for some confirmation of stability, make sure you pull the trigger on the altcoin before it takes off, because that's when everybody buys. And that's what happens here. Now, the nice thing about these altcoins is with Bitcoin, everybody's informed. Most people that are invested in Bitcoin, they understand the market, so they know why that cryptocurrency is moving. For a lot of retail investors that are investing in altcoins just for the thrill of it, they don't understand why these cryptocurrencies are taking off the way they are. They're probably just looking at their Robinhood or Webull account and seeing up 60% on the day and then seeing it more and more and more. And so you have a lot of retail traders FOMO buying in, which makes these even more volatile opportunities. So with that, as long as you know what you're doing and you're buying reasonably and you're not doing anything too crazy, there's really potential to make more money buying the altcoins than there is doing other things. Now, what you're seeing here is some significant sell-off here from Doge. Pretty quick move down from 42 to 39 there. That's almost a 10% sell-off in a matter of seconds. So I don't know what that's all about, but I'm sure we'll figure out soon. Maybe there's a little bit of lacking confidence because of Bitcoin's pattern here, but very, very volatile environment regardless. All right. Sorry, I didn't bump my camera to where I said I would. You still got the Hellcat? I'm 99% sure you had one 4 years ago. I did. You are right. And yes, I do still have the Hellcat parked outside. It's treating me okay. I've had some issues with it over the years. I've gone through a couple clutches already because it's a manual, but still love it. Have a love-hate relationship with it. We'll see how long I have it for. I've got a Hellcat and I've got a Tesla Model 3. So I've got kind of the extreme opposites of both. So I get to give a very unbiased opinion from someone who owns a electric vehicle and a V8 supercharged monster. Johnny says, "Oh yeah, thanks for helping us keep track of the crypto price there. What's up, Gilbert? Happy you're back. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I used all my money on Egyptian hookers. Well, that's a very tragic way to lose your money, but hopefully it was worth it. Hopefully it was worth it, and hopefully you get your money back and can bounce back and recover from that L." Also, guys, for those of you that don't know that use Robinhood, they are releasing a much better trading platform called Robinhood Legends. I just got access to it, and you may have access already. If not, you can join the waitlist, and it usually takes like a week. So I'm experimenting with that now. I'm not quite sure how good it is yet, but it looks to be way better than what they have in the standard app. So definitely check that out if you care about plotting out charts. I will say that much right now. Feel free to ask away any questions you got in the chat. And also, reminder, follow me over at x.com. I would appreciate it. Help me grow my following over there, because that is where I'm transitioning to. And we're live over there right now, so if you want to jump in that stream and comment, feel free. Actually, let me just make sure the stream is still up. Oh yeah. We're over here, guys. But really, I'm just hanging out, here to answer questions. Mostly here to be back and enjoy this bullish price movement here. Talk about some predictions. So I guess I'll get into that until I've got any more questions here in the comments. So here's what I expect to happen next. As we're talking about the why, something that's important to remember. I need some water. Something that's important to remember, guys, is that what the reason is for the price move, and I'm not going to repeat it because I already said it, but it was the election result, right? That's what's caused this bull market, because everybody's thinking about what this could mean. What this could mean. There's nothing confirmed yet, but people are thinking about what this could mean. Keep in mind the election just happened. We just found out who president-elect is, and nothing has been done yet or confirmed. Yet, we see Dogecoin take off like a rocket, and we're now up 4x. We see other stocks like Archer Aviation significantly up. These EV-related, like quadricopter type assets that were sitting at around $3 up to $4.60. Another one, Joby Aviation, competitor for Archer, also bounced from 480 up to 605. And then we've seen what crypto's done. Tesla, we've seen Tesla absolutely rip and go from about $200, which is where, I mean, honestly, even a month ago, if we're talking like 3 weeks ago, October 23rd, that was what, like 2 weeks ago, 2.5? Tesla 213, now we're at 361. Nothing has happened yet, except we had the announcement of who the next president is going to be. Keep that in mind, because that has significant meaning for what's probably going to happen next. We are still in like the honeymoon phase of what just happened. People are going crazy buying things up speculatively because they are implying all these things in their head. What's going to happen over the course of the rest of the year, most likely, before January hits and there's an actual transition of power, there's most likely going to be a pullback, a sell-off, because again, this is the buying based off of hype, not off of anything that's actually occurred quite yet. This is just all mental. So once that steam, once that excitement starts to wear off over the next probably 2 to 3 weeks, I think in December, we're going to see probably a 2 to 3 week period where there's going to be a sell-off, where people start to take profit, and it might even happen sooner. It could happen here over the after going into next week or the week after, where we start to see a pullback, and then maybe getting towards, I forget what the inauguration day is, but once we get to that point, maybe then we start to see another continuation. I say that because you need to keep that in mind when it comes to how you're going to put your plays together for trading things like Bitcoin, Dogecoin, any other alts that are taking off right now following Bitcoin, and any stocks that are taking off because of the election hype. You need to continue, I would suggest, this is not investment advice, I'm not a financial advisor, but keep that in mind and make sure that you have a strategy. Look for a good opportunity to exit. Make sure that you're not being overly bullish, unless you want to just hold long term, which is respectable as well. But if what you want to do is capitalize off this move, sell at the top, and then buy the dip, when it does dip, you need to just keep your eye on the charts, look at some key levels, make sure that you're monitoring to see when steam starts to run out, and then take your sell, just like a lot of other people are going to do. And then once things pull back, wait it out, wait for stability, and then buy the dip when you think that the appropriate dip has occurred. That is the most responsible play. So with that in mind, I want to talk about Tesla a little bit. I am not super heavy on the crypto side right now. Obviously, I'm super hype about Bitcoin and Dogecoin right now. Actually, let me talk about those predictions first, just because I know a lot of you here um, care more about crypto than stocks. So I'll start there. What do I think is going to happen with Bitcoin? What I think can happen with Bitcoin reasonably here. Now, I'm talking relatively short term. Let me go back here. I do think, I really do think that Bitcoin can and most likely will get to about 95 to 98K. I really don't think it's going to hit or surpass 100K. I I'm doubting it a little bit. I feel like there's still just a little bit of doubt that has to be out there about, certifying votes and making sure that, everything goes smoothly first before like institutional investors and hedge funds and any other big money starts to really go 100% buying in. I think people are going to want to be just a little more sure and confident that everything's 100% locked in and that there's nothing that goes wrong, right? Usually you don't see smart money be too presumptuous. So I think because of that, that there will likely be a continuation and we'll likely go into the 90s and we'll likely see Dogecoin continue a little bit. Now, what I posted on X, which is again why you should follow me over there, I posted this on X already that to keep an eye out for Bitcoin heading, to around the 95K level and potentially look for a sell there because I think that's where it's going to start to run out of steam. If everyone's thinking 100K, I think we'll go a little short, maybe 95 to 98, and that Dogecoin as a result will be somewhere between 42 and 45 cents, and that's where you should be looking at a potential sell for Dogecoin if that's what you're holding. And I still stand by that. I said that a little earlier today, but I think 42 to 45, maybe 47. I'm not going to be 100% here. I'm just basing it off experience. Um, in this window is where I think Doge stops for now. I'll draw this out real quick. Somewhere here, I'll give it a 1 cent buffer. We'll just do that if it lets me. There's definitely faster ways to do this. I think somewhere in this window is where Dogecoin peaks for now, because I think somewhere in this window is where Bitcoin peaks. Man, I am forgetting how to work. Sorry. There we go. I gotta get my controls back together, guys. It's been a long time. What was I doing before? There was one where I had the filled in square. Did they remove my square? Was it parallel? No. Hang on. We'll get this back together. Trendline, no. I think they got rid of it. It's been a long time. Oh well. We'll just do this. This general area, 92-ish to about 98. I think that's where Bitcoin runs out of steam. So these two things kind of tie together. We already know that Doge typically follows Bitcoin. So that's established. Keep that in mind. If you want to sell and buy a dip, I would really recommend looking for Bitcoin to maybe even see, does it kind of slow down in this 95 to 98 area and just wait it out, be patient, look to see how high it goes first. I wouldn't do anything too fast either because there's a chance that, there's more bullish movement than we might expect and that we do strongly clear 100K. And this is a more bullish run than people are expecting. And that's going to cause a really crazy continuation. Don't rule that out. But I'm just going off of what's most probable here so that, you can be prepared based on what's most realistic and not be emotional about it. What's most probable is we stop between Bitcoin 95 and about 98. And that's where we slow down. Or maybe we get like 99 and then we reject and we, go through here and then we sell off some more. That's very probable for now. If that does happen, Dogecoin should be in this area. And that's where you should be considering closing out and then looking for a dip buy. just make sure if you decide to not hold, right, and you decide to trade things, make sure you're actively looking at the chart, because something I've also learned over the years, you can't half do trading and expect good results. So if you're going to trade it and not hold it, you need to be actively looking. Set alerts if you need to, but worst thing to do is ignore, like, don't look at your charts when you're supposed to be looking out for key plays to happen or key levels, and then you miss it, and then you start trying to play catch up, and you make all kinds of bad decisions and blow up your account. Let's not do that. Terrible, terrible, terrible idea. You will go broke. So that's what I've got for Bitcoin and Dogecoin. If there's any other altcoins you want me to look at and kind of evaluate, feel free to let me know. Something else that's pretty big that we should look at, though, is Cardano. All right, Cardano is doing some crazy things right now, and this one might seem a little unexplained because Cardano has not been doing so well. If you just kind of look back historically, hasn't been doing so great for a long period of time. But you see right here on the 20th, massive jump from like 25 up to 35 cents, and then from here from like 35 up to 66. I want to talk about that a little bit. So I don't know if you're aware, but if you, and X.com really is kind of the place to be. If you follow anything regarding Charles Hoskinson, who is the founder creator of Cardano, he had a live stream a couple days ago where he talked to a group of people in a space about potentially, or maybe not potentially, he seemed pretty confident, about in 2025, him basically getting together with people in the Trump administration and discussing crypto regulation. And he said it with confidence as if it's going to happen, and it's already been discussed. He said he was in Washington like a few weeks ago, and he's already talked to people and had good conversations. Now, we know that Cardano, or ADA, has had a lot of issues, and I believe they even got removed from trading platforms at some point due to issues. The return and the bullish speculation around his statements has caused Cardano to really take off out of nowhere, in addition to the recent events. So keep an eye on that one, because we know, because we've already been here for a while. If I can get my chart to zoom out some more. We already know where Cardano has been, which tells us where Cardano could go again. Back in the day, ADA went up to $3.10 before this sell-off down to 22. So if you bought in at 30 cents or so, that's a 10x opportunity right there, potentially. If you're here buying in at 60 cents, it's a potential 5x opportunity if things do check out for them and they get it back together. And that's if you're trading with no leverage or anything like that. So there's a lot of plays out there to potentially keep an eye out for. Lots of plays. The last thing I'll talk about for now is just some stocks and ideas to keep an eye out for, and then I'll wrap it up for now because there's plenty more to talk about, but we'll save that for another day. Anything related to electric vehicular travel, we need to be really keeping that in mind. With Elon Musk's implied involvement in government efficiency, that's not only going to be impactful for things like deleting, I guess, unnecessary spending and getting rid of departments that shouldn't be there, but then there's also going to be the portion where he is going to be heavily involved in regulating new areas of transportation. Now, the reason Tesla stock takes off so much because of that is because autonomy has been the real concern, because that's really Tesla's next big play, and it's the thing that is really supposed to seal the deal as far as Tesla's valuation is concerned. The next big thing is full self-driving and the robotaxi, which has been talked about already and unveiled a few weeks ago. The big thing about the robotaxi is it's going to be one of, if not the first car on American roads that has no steering wheel and no pedals, no driver. It's just a two-seater, two-door car where you get in, plug your destination in, and it takes you there by itself, and there's no way to intervene and drive the vehicle. It is a fully autonomous car. Now, as you can imagine, if you're going to say you're going to release that vehicle by 2027, right, and it's going to be purchasable, something has to happen along the line, along that road, where that vehicle is actually allowed to be driven on the roads. And that was the largest concern. It's the reason why people were a little skeptical and still bearish on Tesla, is because it's like, all right, yeah, this is awesome if it plays out, like $25,000 vehicle, autonomy, full self-drive. We're talking about robotaxi, the ability to potentially make money off of these rides too, with a ride-sharing, ride-hailing service, maybe even a partnership with Uber. That wasn't said, but being that they recently made some efforts to get the Uber app in the vehicle, I'm sensing some things behind the scenes. But really, the thing that makes this make or break is, well, you've got the car, you've got the technology. Is it going to get regulatory approval? Will guidelines be out there? Will this even be allowed? Will the government allow it? If not, might as well not even consider it. Now that Elon Musk is going to be directly involved with Trump and is a somewhat an extension of providing some sort of government service, he's going to have direct say and ability to um, accelerate the implementation of regulations that would support autonomy. That doesn't mean that Tesla's going to have the smoothest road ahead, because obviously Elon's not going to be the one to make the safety rules and regulations and restrictions. He's going to be still have to comply to whatever's said, but he's going to be able to get people to take it seriously and actually put the rules out there so that there is a guideline, a rule book for people to follow. And that's primarily going to help Tesla stock, because they're really the only ones out there that are doing full self-drive, or that are going to be doing full 100% autonomous drives. Now, obviously, there's Waymo from Google, but the difference with Google's Waymo and Tesla is Waymo has a whole bunch of cameras and all kinds of crazy sensors on these specialized vehicles, and they're really trained to only operate in unique, predetermined demographics. So it's usually on the West Coast, and it's located specifically in a few different cities or states, whatever. But it's very restricted as far as where those things operate. And they are probably also partially trained heavily on those roads. Now, with Tesla's autonomy, it's literally supposed to just replace the human driver. So if you want to go from Atlanta to New York and take back roads and do whatever you want, or you want to go from Walmart to the park in, Kentucky, whatever, you just get in there, plug in your destination, and the car's going to take you there. It does not have to be in one of the predetermined locations, and it's going to be driven using just basic camera vision, and AI is what's going to be the brain behind it, not pre-mapped, pre-trained on routes. It's just going to be AI doing the thinking and the driving. So that's where things get a little more complicated. And if you're really trying to release that to the public on a large scale, obviously it has to be safe, or else things are not going to go so great. So the considerations of things not going so great is definitely a thought for way out into the future, going into 2027. But as of now, this is the time to kind of be speculative and ride the hype wave of all this potential good news, and just, expect, because of those implications, Tesla stock to continue to take off. When we're talking about what my expectations are for Tesla stock, it's a little tricky to say. I will say one thing analysts are doing, which is kind of frustrating, is they are continuing to update their price targets as the price goes up, which does not provide much value. So as we go up $50, they usually bump their price target up $50 to maintain that gap. Doesn't benefit us much. But I will say that some analysts have increased their target, which was a few days ago. Most of theirs was about 250. Most of them are now 350, which is probably why we're hovering around that fair value area, according to them. But we did get one that bumped up to $400, so that's pretty impressive. But to be perfectly honest, short term, sure. I think maybe if we're talking about within the next 1 to 2 weeks, because Tesla right now, even though Weeble's not updated, I will look at it here. Tesla right now, overnight, is sitting at about 360, and it's fluctuating up a few dollars up and down, but around 360. It is very easy for Tesla to potentially go another 10%, which is all that is, to get from about 360 to 400. Very possible it can even do that tomorrow. If we continue to hold at this price level, and you can see kind of how we're riding this crazy steep trend line all the way up, and we have not really broken below it yet. And maybe I'll just fix this up so we can get a better view. But we're really not even close to touching the trend line here. It almost looks like there's potential to go parabolic on this move, because if we, instead of coming back to this trend line here, create a support horizontally here, and then we respect that line instead, what that usually implies is, we're going to bounce here, and then there's going to be more parabolic movement straight up. It's very possible that happens at this point. So, like I was saying, could very easily see Tesla 400 tomorrow or the day after, depending on how this overnight trading activity goes. If we hold above 360 and going into market open tomorrow, very easily could see it tomorrow or the day after. Long term, I do believe Tesla stock is going to easily surpass $1,000 and beyond. It's if they continue to play out on what they say they're going to, because we've got the autonomous vehicles. Not only is that going to benefit the next vehicles, all their current vehicles, the next vehicles they release, but then there's something we don't talk about, which is going to be a potential licensing play to also license that technology out to others, because Tesla's going to be so far ahead that it's like, at that point, why would you really try and compete if you could just set cameras up in your vehicle and then license Tesla's autonomous software from them? And who knows how much they could charge for that. So that's another play that we don't talk about very much. There's that. And then there's also the whole robotics division as well. Plenty of things that are, I don't believe, even close to priced into the stock right now. So long term, we're talking about pennies here as far as I'm concerned. I think over the next couple of years, this stock will probably have 10x easily. But if we're talking about short-term movement and trading it, buying dips, and moving our money around to try and make the most of these moves that are going on right now, because we know the market's volatile, I would say short-term, probably by the end of the week, if we're holding at these levels, 400 is extremely possible. I don't know how far beyond that will go. That's just going to depend on the market and how bullish everybody's feeling. Could be 450. But to be honest, I think as we're getting towards the end of November here, early December, that's when we're going to see our pullback, as people are starting to not talk about the election that just happened so much, and people are calming down. We'll start to see people taking profit, but then going back into January, as we get closer to the actual inauguration, I think that's when things pick back up as the hype returns. So basically, long story short, hold on to your seats. It's going to be a rocky next couple days and weeks. So that's going to wrap it up for now. Appreciate all the support, guys. Don't forget, follow me on X. I will send it right there. And that's where throughout the day, when I'm not streaming or you're not in the Discord group and we're chatting, that's where I'm posting all my updates as far as stocks to watch, crypto to watch, where to buy, where to sell. So you'll get some value finding me on there. I also am streaming on there simultaneously, so if you follow me there, you can just watch the live streams there and comment in the comment section. They pop up here for me same way. And of course, help me out by liking and retweeting stuff that you find interesting. Appreciate it, guys. I will catch you guys in the next one, hopefully within the next few days. See you.